Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be reviewing the request system test series, so let's go ahead and get started. The request system test series. Request system test is back. Watch the entire video / presentation for new information on request system test. Okay, so in this section, I'm just going to be reviewing some changes to the series. Not much has changed, but there are a few changes that I'm going to go over. So for the first change, you will be able to select 2 smoke and heat detectors instead of 1. I only used to have it where you only used to select 1, and that was only because I only had 1 smoke or heat detector spot on the system. Additionally, simplex alarms can also be requested for the system now that I'm only going to be using the MS5UD. Now that also brings me to my next bullet point, which is the request system test series will only be for the Firelight MS5UD. At this time, I'm not going to be using the Firelight MS4424B. I will only be using the MS5UD. And Candela selection will be available for both notification appliances. So like I mentioned, it was only available for one. And there are some more options as well. I added 95 Candela, I added 1575 Candela, and requests using the collection list on the request system test website page. So a couple of reminders, you can only request devices on the collection list. The collection list is available on the website and the request system test form. Do not request devices I do not have because again, I cannot do any request system tests with devices I do not have. That is not possible. Remember to use the Google form to request your test. Do not request your test in a comment on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. I will not be able to do it that way. Your test may not be done the same week it was requested. Sometimes videos may be before your test. So just as a reminder, sometimes videos do take time to come out, and that is just because of my upload schedule. If I already have videos before your test was completed, don't worry, I eventually will get to it, but just remember that there are a couple videos that might be before it. A request system test will also be on my website or follow the link in the video description, and I will have it down there. And to get to the website, you're going to simply search FireAlarm33 into your web browser, and the website will come up. All right. So the current fire alarm systems, we have the Firelight MS5UD demonstration system, and this system consists of one NAC, one carbon monoxide detector, a second NAC, a smoke and a heat detector zone, an annunciator, and another smoke and heat detector zone, as well as zone 2 and zone 1 and the duct detector. Now, the only things you can request are the 2 NACs, the 2 smoke and heat detectors, and the 2 zones. The duct detector and the 8080 and the carbon monoxide detector do not change. Okay, so those will not be able to be changed in the request system test. It's only those 4 items. Okay. So here's a picture of the current system I have right now. So as you can tell on the left, I have a notification appliance. You got the carbon monoxide detector in the middle, and then to the right, you have another notification appliance. Moving down towards the left, you have a heat detector or smoke detector spot. Now for this spot, it does not matter. It could be a heat or a smoke detector, so whatever you choose. Of course, you have the fire alarm annunciator, and to the right of the annunciator, you have another smoke or heat detector spot. Now moving down below that smoke detector, you have a pool station spot, you got the test station, and then you got another pool station spot. And then additionally, if you have any questions about request system test form, just fill out the form. I have left a link down below, or if you don't want to type that whole link into your search engine, you can just visit the QR code and there you can ask your question. If you have any questions, just reach out. I'll hopefully respond to you within 48 hours about your inquiry to see what your question may be. I often get questions about certain things I can do, such as hitting the drill button or using a magnet to activate the duct detector. Those are things that I'm asked quite often, and are things that I can absolutely do. But do remember that the request system test form also does have an option where you can add a comment or question. So if you add that in there, obviously I can put, do whatever I need to do there. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and review the request system test form. So as you can tell, this is the form that is available on my website, and I will actually show you this right now. So as you can tell, this is the main Fire Alarm 33 website. If you look up Fire Alarm 33, it will come up. Here's the main page. And eventually where it says latest news, this will update and it will have request system test out here, but not right now. So when you scroll down, you actually have a couple options. You can either search it, you can hit this waffle button, or you can hit the nice button below these two items right here, which is request system test. Now, obviously, it does show that the form is closed right now. And again, this is going to update, but right now it's not updated because obviously it's not open yet. But once it opens, this will obviously change. Okay. So on the request system test page, you have the YouTube video, which is the video I'm recording right now, the fire alarm collection list, which helps you select the devices you're going to be doing in your test. It will allow you to see all the smoke, pull station, and fire alarm notification appliances I have. It also will tell you the quantity I have. So if you want two of the same device, obviously, it'll say number 2 next to it, or if I only have one of that device, it'll say number 1. So you'll easily be able to see that. As well as the request system test form. Again, it's not open right now, but once this video is being made, like right now, it will be available, okay? So here's the request system test form. I'm just going to go through it real quick. So as you can tell, it starts out with channel name or just a nickname. So if you put your channel name, I will give you a shout out or just a nickname. But please keep it appropriate, as I will not do any usernames that are inappropriate or anything like that for the set, just for the channel, okay? And then what you're requesting for, obviously we only have one system right now, which is the MS5ED. So you're obviously going to have to click that. It's the only option. Then I'm just going to put NA for non-applicable for right now, okay? So once you hit the next button, it gives you the options for the first, second notification appliance and the pull station. So for example, you can put in Siemens UMHU, MCS, and then you could put Spectral Alert, Advance, P2R, okay? And then you could do Siemens MSM-K. Now these are items that I know that I have in the collection. So obviously these can be requested at any point. All right. Then when you hit the next button, it's going to bring you to specify for the coding. Now the coding options are continuous temporal 3 march time and California code. Now the coding is different from each one, so you can do continuous temporal 3 march time California. So for whatever you would have on device 1, say for example it's temporal 3, you could put temporal 3, and then for device 2, you could put like march time if you wanted to. And then some devices are strictly, I can set it on the back or they may not have a coding option, but most of the time I can code the devices, okay? So for the smoke and heat detectors, I also have 2 questions here for them, and this only used to be 1, but it's for the left and the right spot on the board, and these are all of the smoke and heat detectors I have in the collection. Now, if one stops working or is unavailable, it will be removed from the form immediately, and that will be gone, okay? So you can easily select, so if I want to put in an Edwards heat detector, and I want to put in a Simplex True Alarm smoke detector, you can do that, okay? And all of these model numbers are in here, so that's easy enough. You don't actually have to type them in for this. On the other ones, I don't do that because obviously I have so many different alarms that to put them all on here would be a little impossible, right? So for device candela, some devices have fixed or selectable candela. If your device has a fixed candela, you're just going to put on you cannot select the candela. Or if it does have selectable candela, which I know the Siemens UMHU does, you can put 75, whatever candela you want. Now, 95 candela isn't an option, but it is on some devices like my EST devices, okay? And then if you don't want to select the candela and you want me to select it, you just hit, I don't know if it has a candela selector or other. Now, what the other option is for is if there's a different candela that I am not aware of that's not on this form. For example, some devices have 177 candela, and if I don't have this option, you could simply put it right here, okay? And like I said, you got options right here, but these are required questions, so you are required to answer them in order to complete the form, okay? So as far as updates, I used to send out email reminders about when request system tests will be coming out, but I've gone away from that. I'm no longer going to be doing that. So now, from now on, you're going to actually have to access the content calendar, which can be accessed from my website. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to this page on my website. Now, obviously, you're going to have to sign in or create an account. So to visit the content calendar, you do have to sign up or become a member. You cannot just go onto it. So I highly advise you do that. And to do that, like I said, you can click here to visit the account creation page, which if I click that, it'll just bring you right here to the sign up. You just sign up with your first name, last name, email, password, and then eventually let you in. You have to get approved to get an account, but usually the approval process is within a few days. And this option is a new option that I have. It is in case we are unable to complete your test for some reason, device not functioning, device entered I don't have, or other issues. So sometimes issues come up where a device may stop working. I've had that happen before where smoke may not be working, and I do troubleshooting and diagnostics, and you'll enter your email so that if I have to edit something, you just enter your email and I can make those changes. And then questions or comments I mentioned earlier, but that's for if you have questions or comments. So if you want me to use the drill feature or use a magnet or do something different, like if I have a smoke heat up and you want me just to do the heat element, you will put that here. And then I just have a simple rating at the bottom. And then as well as that, I'll also have something at the bottom, which is a new feature, is contact the form owner. So if you do that, it will actually allow you to contact me directly if you have questions. So that's another way that you can contact me if you have to, okay? So that's important to know, all right? All right, and then if you have any questions, comment below. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe.